everybody. I'm Anita Finley, your Zoomer Times TV presenter, and I have a special treat for you today. You have met Anthony Kulp on many occasions. You've seen his advertising in Boomer Times, and he's a very attractive man, and he's very smart. And we know he does a lot of things, but now I'm going to give you something that you're going to be thrilled with. You all also know Dan Verity. He is our administrator. He's the producer and director of Zoomer Times. So he's looking for another place to live. And what would he do but call Anthony Kulp? And Dan, I want you to take it from here. Tell us how it all went, what happened, and you've been with other realtors years ago. Tell us how Anthony fares.
Well, gosh, where do I begin? Yeah, we started looking in January, and Bill and I right now are in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment on the 3rd floor of a really nice complex. We've been here for 6 years, but we're ready to move on, and we're looking to own something again. We're both getting to retirement age, and this is not a 55 plus community, and we definitely are set on moving into 55 plus. So obviously I thought right away of Anthony Kulp, who's a senior real estate specialist, because he knows about all this stuff. And we are primarily looking in the Delray Beach area. And I have to thank Anthony from the bottom of my heart for his patience and perseverance and endurance. This has not been an easy process. You know what the problem is?
Tell us why, Dan.
And this is very interesting. I have never had this happen before. With the market the way that it is, we will look at a place that is available, and by the time we walk out the door, it's under contract. These places are being bought out from underneath us, so we don't even have a chance to make a bid. So that is one of the biggest things we've been facing, is we go to look at these properties and they're being bought up. And we know they're not by commercial companies, because these places are all private owned, HOAs and stuff. And they won't allow companies to come in and buy up lots of property. In fact, you have to live there for 2 years before you can rent it. So it's been an interesting process, hasn't it, Anthony?
Oh, absolutely. I'll set up 6 showings, and by the time we're ready to go out a couple of days later, 4 of them will either be under contract, or they've been rented, or the tenant is going to be there much longer than the time frame that we need. But you know, we have a lot of fun when we go out. I mean, we are constantly laughing, and you know, it's as you get older, it gets harder and harder to move, and you have to make it fun, and you can't put pressure on people, especially, you know, people who are 55 plus. I take a lot of people out and they'll say, this is the last place I'm ever going to live. And so, you know, we got to make sure it's the right place. Whether it's for, you know, I've been telling a lot of people, don't think about your needs today. Think about your needs in 5 years. Think about your needs in 10 years. I have one gentleman, 71 years old. He said, oh, well, townhouse is okay. I thought,
right, upstairs, right? Walk up.
Well, Dan, you think you're going to be able to do the stairs in 5 years? You know, what about 10 years? So he, you know, he thought about it. And also there's finance, you know, what your finances are. Most people, what they're making today, what they have coming in, is what they're going to have coming in 5 years or in 10 years. It's, you know, depending on how much their income is dependent on investments. And, you know, it's best to base your living expenses off of your guaranteed income, Social Security, pension, stuff like that. If you're basing your living expenses or total expenses off of investments, including the other guaranteed funds you have coming in, you're taking a big risk.
Yeah.
You're taking a big risk. You know, I'm 56. I hope to retire in 10 years. I talked to my financial guy and I said, I can't afford to be in anything risky. So he has me in something that's, you know, I don't earn a great deal of interest from it, but it's safe. I know that it's going to be there in 10 years. So that's really important. A lot of people think, oh, the money I have today, in 10 years, it'll be fine. But if you think of taxes going up, condo fees going up, if you're moving into a condo, or a major expense of a roof, you have to buy a new car, something like that, it can really hurt your income.
Okay, but now are you looking at new? Are you looking at old, Dan? What do you want?
We're looking at places that they're used, I guess, used home, previously lived in homes. A lot of them are condos that have been built in the 70s. Only ground floor. That was my big stipulation. I don't want any more stairs. We're on the 3rd floor now, and I don't want to do it. I don't know how I'm going to be in 5 years, 10 years.
A little heavier without doing the steps, I can.
Yeah, right.
But you're not looking then necessarily at a private family home.
No,
You're looking at a condo.
we're looking at a condo. Yes, we're not
Okay.
looking at private family homes because we don't have the budget for it, quite frankly.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
A lot of
looking,
maintenance too. You don't need
Oh,
the maintenance.
exactly. Yeah. So we're looking to get into an HOA type of deal. And we want maintenance to be low. And this is important. A lot of the places that we looked at are turnkey. They are ready to move in. They've been completely renovated. And that's
Wow.
really important to us because, yeah, look, I'm a handy guy, but I'm not pulling up carpets and laying floors anymore. I'm not going to do it with my back issues and stuff. So, you know, if we have to hire a contractor to do certain things, that's fine. But, you know, once we sign the papers and buy this next house, that's all we got left. We don't have any extra cash laying around to hire contractors to do stuff. So it's very important to us that this place is move-in ready.
And the nice thing about Anthony, of course, and I know you know this, is that he was a contractor. So when he
Yeah.
goes to a place, they can't hide something
Right.
because he'll know it right away, right?
He picks it out like that. And
Yeah.
and Anthony has an amazing nose for mold. He cannot even get through the front door all the way, and he says there's a water problem here.
Yeah.
There's water
Really?
issues here. Yeah. So, and even if his nose fails him, he has a little meter that he can detect high
Really?
moisture in the area. So, yeah, Anthony comes well equipped.
Yes, he does. But Anthony, when you're selling a home, don't they have to, in the inspection, have a mold inspection also?
Right, but it costs a lot of money. You
Mm.
know, if you buy a home and there's a problem, you know, you're paying, inspections can cost $500.
Yeah.
And, you know, you may have put money down. You may have already submitted the application, which costs funds. So if we can go in and we smell mold or mildew,
Mhm.
I carry this meter in the car and we can kind of figure out where it is. And if it looks like something that's going to be a big problem where they have to rip the wall open,
Mhm.
and like Dan said, he doesn't have, if he doesn't have the extra funds to put into the property once he buys it.
Right.
So, you know, we go and we concentrate on other properties. As far as new construction, we would love to find new construction. It's
Yeah.
just not out there. And what is out there is very expensive.
Yeah.
So,
And how about pets? Because you know he has 2 wonderful cats. Are you having any problems with animals?
some places allow animals. We deal with it as it comes. You know, if we have to get an emotional support animal letter, that's what we'll do. We'll talk to the right people to, you know, to secure it correctly. But even most places now, you know, as long as you have the letter and you give them what they're asking for, it's not a problem. And cats especially, because they don't go outside.
Right.
Yeah, we
My
have
other question,
two completely indoor cats. So
Yeah.
they would
the
never
other
go-
question I have though about this is, for people who want to sell their home, many of them, and I'm sure you don't want them to do, they want to be there when someone comes in. That's not a good idea. Are you finding any of those people doing that?
Some people, especially now with COVID, they don't want to leave the house. And most of the time, I'll ask the agent, can you ask them to go outside so we can talk freely? Because,
Right.
if somebody's waiting outside or if they're there, we want to get in and out. We don't want to disrupt what's going on with them. So it's not a good thing. My thing is to get you in the house and to get you to feel as comfortable as you can as quickly as I can so you can picture
Right.
living there. And that's hard to do when somebody's outside waiting for you.
But
Yeah.
now, don't so many of the homes already, aren't they photographs? Do you use the photographs first before you get someone to go in?
Well, on my listings, I must take 100 photos or more. For a 2-bedroom condo, I'll take 100 photos. Now, out of the
Really?
100, yeah, out of the 100 right away, 20 of them get thrown out. And then the remainder, some of them are duplicates, but then I have to crop them, so they look right, maybe adjust the light, and I'll put them and then I'll put about 60 in the MLS because a lot of people are using Zillow. And on Zillow, the longer I can keep them on my listing looking at pictures,
Right.
Zillow thinks, oh, this must be the listing people like. And then Zillow helps me out a little bit. So, but I've been accused of putting too many pictures in, but we're allowed to put up to 100.
Yeah, we don't mind. We as the buyers, gosh, show us all the pictures you want. We love them because
So,
that helps us a lot making a decision.
so Dan, so you're looking, of course, for homes with 2 bathrooms. Do you
Yeah.
want one with a bathtub and a shower, or do you care?
I don't care. No. I can't I can't tell you the last time we took a bath. In fact, Sheldon uses the bathtub more than we do. So it's really not that important, to be honest with you.
Just to clarify, that's his cat.
Yeah, Sheldon's our cat. Yeah.
Right. Right. That's a good point, Sheldon. Right. And he's a big cat.
Yeah,
But
he's
Anthony,
huge.
so don't certain people want a bathtub and some don't? Because I know I have a cousin who has to have a bathtub.
Right.
People 55 plus, very few ask for a home with a tub, but a lot ask for a shower in the master bathroom. If it's going to have a tub, they don't mind if it's in the other bathroom. But
Mhm.
if in the master bath, they much rather have a walk-in shower.
I see. Yeah,
That's
I'm in a,
interesting. Why is that, Anthony?
Well,
I
for
think it would
safety,
be just the other way around.
yeah, I'm 56 years old, and I don't like stepping over the rim of the tub to get
Right.
in.
Good
You
point.
think the tubs being slippery, which they are.
Good
And
point.
in Florida is one of the only states where it's not that important to have a tub. And most communities have a big tub. It's called a community pool. So if you
Yeah.
that's great.
Just
No,
bring
you
salt.
bring up a good point though, Anthony. Now you're showing people and they like the home. What about introducing them to some of the people that live there? Do they want to see that?
Oh, it's always great if you see somebody walking their dog or walking
Oh,
around or
yeah.
in the elevator to say, oh, how do you like living here? Now
Mhm.
you have to be careful because some people are just big complainers.
Yeah, right.
Everything.
I hate this place. I can't wait to get out, right?
Lost the deal because the neighbor on the one side was feuding with the neighbor on the other side. And the buyer said, I don't want to be in the middle of this.
Yeah, well,
Right. Oh, wow.
They decided to buy something else.
Exactly.
we always notice when we go to visit a property that you get all the curious neighbors come out and they see, because they want to see who's looking at that place, so they're the nosy
we like
neighbors
them?
come out. Yeah, I don't mind. It doesn't bother me.
Well, this is one of the things I said to make it fun. There was a neighbor, we were out, and I said, oh yeah, they have a rock band.
Yeah, his face dropped.
Oh, that's very funny. That's like that commercial you see where someone's living there and the people above them they're tap dancers.
Yeah.
That's very,
We have a clog problem.
the progressive right ads are very funny. But let me add, I know that Dan is a big chef. He loves to cook.
Yeah.
So for you probably told Anthony the kitchen kitchen is what I really want, right?
He knows that, yes. And I must have a kitchen that is move-in ready. The kitchen is the most important room of the house to me personally, because I spend a lot of time in my kitchen. So, it doesn't have to be brand new, but it has to be workable from day one. And, fortunately, actually, and most of the places we've looked at have been vacant,
Mhm.
and have been like renovations just happened, so that the kitchens have been breathtaking. So we've been fortunate.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
have been able to narrow it down to one area.
Yes,
We went out, sampled a lot of area. We narrowed it down to one area.
Yeah.
So it's not like Dan said, I want to live near the beach, or I want to live on a
No.
golf course. He
No.
does, that's not his big thing, I don't think, is it?
Dan
No.
and Bill, I would categorize as nesters. It's more
Yeah.
important to
That's
their
Exactly.
environment and entertaining than it is to convenience to the beach.
Exactly.
Shopping is a big thing, but in the Delray area, they're mostly all major roads.
Mhm.
And there's always shopping, which is only a few minutes away.
Right.
Uh,
Yep.
Yeah,
And
Delray
yet
has-
these neighborhoods that we've looked at are, in particular High Point, the neighborhoods they're quiet. They're
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
pleasant, even though there's major roads nearby, the way they're constructed with old growth trees and beautiful gardens and stuff, it makes a huge difference. It cuts down on a lot of that background noise.
So
So
are you looking in High Point?
we're looking in several High Points.
Hey, I knew some people lived there. They were wonderful. It's almost like they're duplexes in a way, aren't they? They're like
Exactly.
two, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
very nice, right?
Yeah.
You
So
know,
there's only 2 tenants per building.
exactly.
And and they're all 1-story buildings, so you don't feel like
Right.
you're living in a tenement situation,
Right,
which
right.
I didn't care for. And you drive through the neighborhood and you instantly feel like this is a true neighborhood. It's
Right.
not a complex, so
So,
we really enjoyed
My
that.
question regarding that, if Dan wants to plant some vegetables, does he get to do that in something like this that's an HOA?
Yeah, there are little areas. I mean, you can't get out of hand with a big vegetable garden if you do it in pots or
Right.
in one of the places we looked at, you can have a patio out back. You had some area outside that you can sit outside, you can put a little flowers in, planting beds and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's nice.
One of the places we looked at was a building. It was first floor, but it was a building.
Oh.
And it was very nice. It was completely remodeled, fresh remodel. It was really, really nice. And I just can't keep my mouth shut. I'm like, I don't like it.
No,
I
well, you said that right away, and I appreciated your candor. It's so funny because later that night I went home and Bill and I were talking about it, and I said to him, "Can you imagine if we had to call an ambulance to that place? It took us a half hour to find the apartment. Could you imagine if we had to call
Yeah.
police?
Oh,
Or,
interesting.
and that scared the heck out of me.
Yeah.
So let alone my mother. I mean, and I said to Bill, every time somebody comes to visit, we're going to have to say, hold on, meet me at the gate, because you're never going to find your way through this. And
Yeah.
that's true. That is very true. I don't know how folks
That
there deal
complex-
with it, but
That's
it
not
wasn't
like
for
a
us.
bus. They had their own bus inside the complex.
They did. Yeah, they actually did.
Really?
Yeah. So
Well-
we although the apartment was breathtaking, the finishes and everything, it wasn't for us, not at all.
Yeah, it was the environment. Well, but
Yep.
tell me now about the what it's like for people who are selling. Are their prices just because it's such a seller's market? So how do you deal with the prices if there must be much higher because of demand?
Well, the inventory is low, and which means, for me, it's good.
Prices go up.
Because if you asked me for a certain property, before I may have been able to have to pull up 30 places. Now I'm lucky if I can find 8 that are within that criteria.
Right.
And
Mhm.
No, the higher priced properties are sitting on the market. I have one myself, but we just lowered it. Now we're getting showings because the competition has gone under contract. So, there's less properties to compete with us. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's usually people who've been looking for years. They look at a property and they say, well, I should have bought 2 years ago. I could have got this for 50,000 less. And I said, well, let's get in my real estate time machine and we'll go right back.
Right. Or now you can really list places. You can tell people, it's a good idea to list it now because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we expected to get a lot of listings from Canadians this year.
Why
And
is that?
well, because they made it very difficult for Canadians to come to the United States this year.
Oh, immigration.
And they made it, the Canadians, this was the Canadian government, and they made it extremely difficult and expensive to go back. And you have to, if you go back, you have to quarantine in a hotel, certain hotels for so many days, you have to be tested. Then you have to quarantine in your home. And it's not like the United States, they were following up to make sure you were in your home.
Yeah.
So Canada's been very careful.
So you expect a lot of Canadians now to start to come down here once this is
No,
over.
we expected them to list their properties.
Oh, I see. To list the property. So I see.
Now, we still may get that come April or May.
Sure.
And there are some Canadians that are staying here until they relax some of those rules. But, in this country, we're very lucky that this vaccine has been distributed like it is. I have friends who live in Munich and they're just about in total lockdown because as soon as they go out and they open things up, the virus takes off again. So, and he's not expecting, I have a friend who's in his early 60s and he's not expecting to be able to get the vaccine till May or June.
Wow.
That's hard. Right. So Dan, getting back to this now, is it, are the people that, well, not the people, but the taxes, are they very high in different areas? So is that must be a big problem too, to think about it. I mean, you buy a house and you have to worry about the taxes.
Yeah, taxes and of course, homeowners insurance, in some cases, flood insurance because they're in flood zones. So the fact sheets actually that Anthony gives us have all that information. Obviously, if the people sell the property, the taxes are going to be adjusted. So we expect them to be higher. But I would say that on a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, about 1,200 square feet, the taxes are running about $1,800 a year. And most of the HOA fees have been about $350 a month. So that we can do that.
Yeah, well, you've been paying a lot on your apartment, your rental,
Yeah.
You've been paying them. I think you had to pay maintenance there or something, didn't you? Or is
Yeah,
that included in the rent?
No, that's included on our rent, but all the valet trash and the pool and everything here, we pay for that in our rent. But that's a good point, Anita, because we are actually going to save several $100s a month by owning our own place as opposed to renting.
Really?
Yeah. So our expenses are going to go down.
Well, you're going to make sure too that you're going to make sure that because it's very important that the internet is good. So you're going to go in and check the internet also before, because seriously, there are some places that they don't have very good internet reception.
They don't, but I'm going to buy one of Elon Musk's inventions, his Starlink. Yeah. If I have to, I'll buy a Starlink. Huh?
I thought you were kidding.
No, I'm not kidding at all. If the internet is not good at a place that we consider, I will buy one of Elon Musk's Starlink satellites and we'll use the internet that way. Yeah, sure.
I didn't know anything about that. So you put it up on your roof?
Uh-huh.
And they don't have any problems against putting things up on your roof?
Well, of course, it depends on the association and what.
Right, that's me.
But it doesn't have to go on the roof. It could go, just about anywhere. But
sometimes you'll see somebody will fill a 5-gallon bucket with cement. They'll have the pole on there, and then they'll have the satellite dish on that.
That's
I see.
That's a great idea.
I don't think.
Okay, now, if you're gonna get a place that it's just the two families, are you gonna be able to check out who that family is? They could, to make sure that they're nice?
Well, actually, all these places will interview us before we move
I
in.
know.
So, we'll
Right.
get to meet them that way. But, I think I make a pretty good impression, so I'm not too
No,
worried.
you do, but for them. Well, let me ask Anthony something. Anthony, is it very important when you take people around that they have a high credit score?
Well, certain associations require
Yeah.
a certain credit score. Now, some could be as low as 620, but I've seen them as high as 740.
Yeah.
And I think it's very unfair for a credit
I
score
do too.
740. I mean, I could see maybe going up to 680. And there's a lot of people that would love to get into an association like this that maybe for whatever reason, it could be a health reason. If you maybe had some health expenses that you couldn't afford or pay at the time, and you fell behind, and it lowers your credit. It's not fair that you're back at work that now you can't move into a place because you had these health bills that you're trying to figure out. There
Sure.
has to be some sort of balance in the future, and I think now with coronavirus, with people being laid off, they're going to have to work something out because you can't
Yes.
have that many people out of the market, the purchase.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Before I let you go any further, though, I absolutely have to tell everybody how to get in touch with you. Now they're drooling. Okay, now how do I get him? Okay, get your pencils out. It's the phone number for Anthony Michael Culp is 954-815-9048. And get your pencils again. I'm going to give it to you one more time. It's 954-815-9040.
There.
And he says,
90
buy smart. What?
9048.
What I say,
9048.
40?
Yeah.
I did, oh, sorry, you're right. They're so big. I know I shouldn't have missed that. I'm so excited here. 954-815-9048.
Right.
Okay, let's do that again. 954-815-9048. And if you can't get him, call Dan and he'll be sure to, give you his phone number at Boomer Times. But he's a #1 realtor in South Florida because he
Yes, he is.
your #1 realtor. I have to say that. Your #1 realtor. I'm really doing it this morning. Senior real estate specialist, which is very important because he does understand what the needs of seniors are. And Anthony Culp is friendly, smart, and of course, Dan. How much is he paying you to tell everybody this, Dan?
Nothing. We're doing it out of the goodness of our heart because we totally appreciate everything Anthony's doing for us.
Well, I try to make it fun. It has to be fun. It can't be added stress.
We've been having a ball.
And something I forgot to talk about, parking is very important. So
yeah,
you have a car and your husband has a car. So do you get 2 spaces usually?
Well, some places you only get 1 assigned spot, but right away we look to see how many guest spots there are. And in High Point, they're plenty. It's plenty. It's not a problem.
Right. And I think the High Point that I know about, where my friends live so happily, across the street from them was the post office.
Oh,
Maybe
nice.
that's not the one.
That's convenient.
Yeah, there is one.
It's a huge community and there's several sections. So
yeah.
Well, I think that that sounds good. Hopefully you'll find something. I mean, because you have a little while. And Anthony, how do you find property that's for sale? I mean, do you knock on doors if you can't find something? Knock on doors and say, would you like to sell your home? I have a hot buyer.
There's no more knocking on doors anymore.
No more cold calling.
You can't even, you're not even supposed to put something in people's mailboxes. Or, it's nowadays, it's just not, I don't want somebody walking up to my front door that isn't invited.
Sure.
I get Amazon packages all the time. I don't know why they're coming to the front door. So no, we have an MLS system, and our MLS system is really good. And for Dan and Bill, I actually outline an area. because sometimes things are put in the MLS wrong.
Mhm.
So if I outline the area, then it's it's only pulling up properties in that area that I've outlined. And that's what we've done with High Point, because High Point has so many different sections. And somebody could accidentally put in the wrong zip code or the wrong street or the wrong house number. And it could put I was looking up property once, and the little balloon that shows where it is was out in the ocean.
You are so thorough.
It was a houseboat.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was one of the, right. Down in Miami, they had those houses out in the water, and I think they're all gone now.
Yeah.
Remember? The Stick, they
Yeah.
called them the Stick Village something. But I know that Dan loved living in Fort Lauderdale years ago by all his friends, but I guess you're just matured, huh? Maybe you have to get them to come out where you are now, Van.
Yeah, well, Delray is further south and it is closer to Fort Lauderdale. But I did tell Anthony at the beginning that we weren't really interested in going back to Broward County because traffic is a huge issue there now. I do go to Broward County occasionally for doctor appointments and stuff, and I absolutely dread it because the area has become so built up without any consideration given to infrastructure.
Yeah.
And I can't live with, we're done with that. We have the ability to be patient and to be choosy this time because we're not in a rush to get out of here. So we're
Right.
going to make sure that we get what we want.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially since you think this will be the last one that, if you like it and all, it
Right.
may not be the last one, but
It may not
if
be,
you're
but
thinking in terms of something that's really important.
it'll be long term. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So when you get in there, will you, from the things you've been seeing, will you be painting different colors or you'll be satisfied with what's done? I mean,
Well, it
I don't
depends.
know.
Yeah, it depends. If we have to, we're not going to paint. We're going to get a contractor to come in and paint if we have to. But a lot of these places, as I mentioned, were redone, they're just, a lot of them were done by designers, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. By the way, we're gonna run out very shortly, so I don't want you
Okay.
to think we're being rude. But
Okay. So we're going to say goodbye to everybody. And if we close it out, you'll know. One thing I didn't ask you about floors. Is it important what the flooring is, Dan?
yeah, it's either got to be that vinyl wood floor or tile, no carpeting. But it's not a deal breaker. But that's what we prefer.
Mm-hmm. So, Anthony, most of people they're not putting in carpeting anymore, are they?
No. Most of the carpet's being removed, and it's called LVT, luxury vinyl.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
tile's very
Easy to
difficult.
clean.
LVT is so nice and it's so easy to put in.
Oh, it's beautiful. We have it now and we love it.
Yeah. Well, I guess we will say goodbye. And Anthony, I'm so glad we did.